What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 130 of Value Town. I'm ChanManV, and joining me today, of course, my co-hosts Alliestrasza and Jackie Chan. What's up, guys?
Hello, hello.
Everybody having a good weekend or a good week so far and all these crazy card reveals today? Have you guys been keeping up with everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. The excitement is building.
Yeah.
The Knights of the Frozen Throne.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait
all the new memes.
Yeah, all the new memes. Yeah, exactly. And fresh off of his win at Atlanta, and just literally walking home or just getting in the door. So I really appreciate you actually hopping on the show. DrJikininki, what's up? Or DrJikininki. Oh, gosh, I always have trouble
just say Dr. J. That's
Dr.
fine.
J.
Dr. J.
It's like a
Hey,
basketball.
how's it going?
Yeah,
Thank you for having me on, Chan, man. It's great. I know it was on last time. That was a blast. I'm excited to be back on again.
Yeah, it's a perfect time to have you on, man. This after a
Perfect
win.
timing when I came in the door too. So.
Yeah, I heard you had a crazy travel adventure.
It was hectic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, glad you definitely made it back and made it back in time to talk a lot of Knights of the Frozen Throne with us. Allie actually just got back from Comic-Con, so we'll definitely get the lowdown from Allie and the Frozen Citadel and all that good stuff. We've got a Hearthstone comic now. This is crazy cool. And, of course, we've got a little bit of news involving just some of the missions. And then cards. We've got 7 cards to reveal, and well, not reveal, but review today. So definitely have our initial opinion. See if we're right. You know, kind of go back and we can be part of those videos where we were just like completely wrong about cards, and it'll be documented. But also we've got Underrated and Jebaited, FrankenDeck. We've got another FrankenDeck that we're going to be doing for Deck of the Week. And then the Mekkatorque workshop, we've got 3 of you guys actually submitted your cards. And then we'll see if we have time to get to Q&A today. We may not, given that we have a little bit of a time constraint. So let's get started just as quickly as we can. I figured we would maybe quickly, me and you, Jackie, and then we'll get into all the good stuff with DreamHack and Comic-Con. What have you been doing this week in our week in Hearthstone?
I've literally just been smashing Rogue all week. Like playing ladder, trying to come up with the best tempo Rogue list, like playing like all the Jade versions, the Elemental versions. And,
yeah,
it's been doing pretty well. Like I think Rogue is like in a good spot right now.
Oh yeah, man.
And I think the tempo based Rogue decks are like better than Miracle Rogue. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we played the Rogue deck for Deck of the Week, right? And that was definitely a lot of fun with the Jade deck. So yeah, been playing that. Been playing, still playing a little bit of the biggest Druid as well as some Nazad Freed. So definitely had some fun with just some of those decks. But not as much fun as Dr. J's had, though, given that he was competing at DreamHack and ended up winning the entire event, which... those of you that have competed at DreamHack know that DreamHack is the Grand Prix are very, very difficult events to win, just given that there's it's a Swiss tournament as well as a very, very good competition at all of them. So congratulations to you, Dr. J, for winning over a Noblord in the finals. Tell us about the whole event, man. Like, how was it for you?
The event was actually crazy. It was so getting there was pretty crazy itself. Just getting there, I had a lot of troubles, but then once I got there, I got to meet a lot of cool people. And one of the greatest things for me is like one of my friends who I've known on Hearthstone for 2 years. His tag is DeNinja, and I don't know if y'all ever heard of him.
Yeah, I know.
But he's most known for bringing Zoo to playoffs, and that was pretty funny. But I've known him for 2 years, and he lives in California, and I live on the East Coast. And he was going to be at the event. So honestly, if I didn't do anything at the event, if I didn't place I just would have had such a great time, because I saw him and I just ran up, and it was this big moment where I was just like, wow, I've
like
known you for
moment.
2 years but never seen you. It's like the scene where you're going across the field of daisies and you just finally meet up in the middle.
Oh my God. Yes.
Angel thump.
Angel thump. No, that's good, man. That's good to have. Obviously, we have a lot of friends in Hearthstone, and we don't get a chance to see them in person a lot of times. So, and that can be really, really cool. But the tournament, just how was it? Tough? Was it a tough run? Did you feel good the entire time, or?
I felt good about the run. I started off really bad. I got swept by Shaman round 1 because Shaman's pretty good if you haven't heard. and I got
Really?
swept. I got bloodlusted on 5, like 2 games in a row. and it just
Oh,
was not
damn.
fun. And I was so worried. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a rough tournament. And then I won out the rest of that day. Played against a lot. My strategy was to ban Druid, so I faced a lot of a lot of shamans, a lot of mages, a couple rogues here and there. After day 1, I was 4-1. Going into day 2, got a good night's rest. Talked to a couple people, and then I came back. And my first round was Astrogation, and Astro crushed me. His lineup just crushed mine. He had the Dragon Priest with double Galaka.
Oh yeah.
And I was so
right.
I had to ban it. I was so terrified of playing against it. And then I finally went 7-2, and
Nice.
then played in top 16. It was just great. I was really tired through the event, so I'm sure I didn't play too well. Like I played well, but I could have done a lot of stuff better looking back at it. So I mean, there's always room for improvement no matter where you play. So it was a great event overall, though. I think I played well.
Any highlights? Anything in particular that stood out to you?
Just meeting just the people I met, playing Noblord in finals because Noblord's just an exceptional, phenomenal player, and I'm glad.
I like
I
how
got
you
to
tried to
meet
fake him
finals.
out with the the little
the
pirate
Spellbreaker.
warrior, the mouse over his
Well, I
hero.
had nothing in my deck that would have killed him,
I-
so I wanted to scare him a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
those of
we
you
were
wondering what
joking
I'm
back
talking
and forth
about, he was
set.
one short of lethal with the pirate warrior, and so he had a card in his hand, so he was just like faking him out for like
It
maybe
was
about a couple
Spellbreaker. I
seconds.
targeted Spellbreaker at
Yeah.
his face.
You guys got a good laugh out of that. That was actually
Another-
pretty funny.
Another cool thing was from our local area, Fairfax, where the Cave Gaming Center is, where they host like playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We actually had 3 players that go to that local tavern made top 16.
Wow.
It was myself, Rich Webbs, who played top 8, and then Mordekaiser. We all made top 16.
Nice.
Nice.
Something in that tavern, something brewing in that beer or whatever there. That's obviously working.
Did you all bring the same lineup, or did you?
No, I brought the same lineup as Hot Meowth because we worked on the lineup together. I think Mordekaiser brought the Paladin, which is like the Murloc Paladin, Pirate Warrior, Shaman, and then I can't remember his last class off the top of my head. And I know Rich Webbs brought Big Druid, so that was really exciting. He was doing really well with that deck.
Big Druid's so fun.
Big Druid.
Totally good. Hey, Dog thinks it's the best deck in Hearthstone, right, Allie?
He said it again, apparently.
He
like,
did it
wasn't-
again?
Yeah, he said it
Wow.
again. So now it's like confirmed that he's made that statement.
That's
So
right. No, that's definitely cool, man. Whenever Hearthstone's in a state where Big Druid is talked
Right.
about as maybe one of the best decks in Hearthstone, that's great, man. Totally good. Well, anyways,
Pretty good
congratulations, dude, on that. And you've been close like a couple times now, so I think that it was about time that you ended up nabbing one of these great events. And how many points did you get from that now? So are you automatically qualified or no?
I was qualified before. I think I was qualified going into the event.
Oh,
I had
okay,
18
okay.
points going in.
Gotcha.
So I think I was either on the bubble or the legend point would put me to 19
Right.
to make sure I got in. But this one gave me 15, which puts me at 33. So I think
I think you're
point
safe.
leader right now. And I think I'm safe. I think I'll be fine.
You can cruise this season
Impressive.
or this last month, right? No big deal. Really, really cool. Anyways, let's see. The next thing we have here is Allie at Comic-Con, which
Yes.
looked like a blast, dude. Just everything at
was.
Comic-Con, whether it was Hearthstone or not. Did you get a chance to why don't we talk about the Hearthstone stuff and then we'll go into Hearthstone. Did you get a chance to go to any non-Hearthstone stuff?
well, I just pretty much walked around the floor. Like I wasn't the person that went into or waited in the 3-hour line for the Game of Thrones panel or the 10-hour line for the Game of Thrones panel. Like I was not prepared to do that, so I pretty much just walked to the floor and saw everything. The cool thing about Comic-Con though is that just being downtown in that area, so much is going on that you don't even need to have a ticket to have a great time, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So because they have apparently there was this crazy like Blade Runner experience. I didn't actually do it because the line was too long, but it was outside of the convention. So like you didn't even really need a ticket to actually go in. And they have all these different types of stuff. Which the Ice Citadel, you didn't need a ticket either because that wasn't inside the convention either. So yeah, it was my first experience. Definitely very, very cool. Yeah.
I still haven't been, man. I've been wanting to go one of these days.
Well, the tickets are just insanely hard to come by, I guess. That's the biggest issue. So they sell out like the day after the last one or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely been checking out all the trailers that were announced there, like Stranger Things and Westworld.
Yeah,
dude, those trailers are awesome.
Exactly.
Can't wait for those. But Hearthstone, obviously the Frozen Citadel, which was first time we've seen marketing of an expansion to this level. You know, like we're seeing the Frozen Citadel, we've seen Temple Storm taken over by the Lich King, and all of these different things now. So I saw pictures. I saw the pictures actually you posted too.
Yeah.
Was the ice cream and all that stuff really, really cool?
It was honestly one of the coolest things. Yeah, the Ice Cream Citadel, basically, and it was hot this weekend too. Like, and so we were, standing in line, and then you get into the room, and it's actually freezing in there, which is great. And they had 2 flavors. It was like a sorbet and a vanilla, and they were actually amazing. They had glitter in the ice cream. Okay, so you walk up and you get your ice cream, and then you can sit down and take a picture with the Lich King.
Awesome.
For me, I did not realize that the Lich King was a real person in a costume. I thought it was a statue. And so I sat down next to it like, hey, try to get my pic for Instagram. And and then he like moves and looks at me, and I'm like, holy crap! But, I kind of
just accidentally like sit on his lap, like with us.
I basically was sitting very close to him.
Tell the Lich King what you want for Christmas.
Hey, what do you want for Feast of Winterville?
That's basically how it went down. So yeah, you got to get a picture with the Lich King, get like really tasty ice cream, and escape the heat in the Ice Cream Citadel. It was really well done. And I also, Jason Chase was outside conveniently of the Ice Cream Citadel when I walked up. And so I was doing an IRL stream, and I like awkwardly walked up to him. I was like, can you say hi to the IRL stream? And he's obviously one of the game developers. And so it was really cool to meet him, got to introduce myself. So
you didn't get a chance to meet him in China?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, I fangirled a little bit. I was like, oh, it's Jason Chase. Anyway, so that was cool. And then the fireside gathering, that honestly has, I think, I've been to Dreamhack and I haven't been to too many Hearthstone events, but I've had the most fun at the fireside gathering over this weekend. It was a blast seeing everyone. It was at this bar called the Naughty Barrel. There was Hearthstone charades going on. They had like a card up on the TV, and someone, would stand in front of the TV, and people had to enact the card out, or like to, try to get the person to guess the card. And, everyone's having beers. Eloise and Frodan were cosplaying as Jaina and...
Oh yeah, I saw Frodan's cosplay. That was
they were really good.
What was he? I didn't actually see the picture.
I don't know who he was exactly.
Let me see this. You gotta see this. Somebody's mic is blowing or something. I hear something kind of weird coming from it. I'm not sure. Is it shaking? Is somebody's mic shaking or something? Oh, did he have the mustache? No. Oh no! Oh my God, that was Frodan. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Holy crap! He went all
I
out,
haven't
dude.
seen this. I'm assuming it's on
That's
Twitter.
Crazy.
And so Reynad was also there. Reynad was
really
there.
cool.
Reynad was not cosplaying.
No, he was not cosplaying.
Look at this, man. Look at Frodan. He went all out. Look at this.
He looks.
pretty
He's
cool.
even got like an evil expression,
Yeah.
man. Like he's going in.
It was really well done. It was very well done.
Yeah, always looks pretty good too.
But it kind of looked hard to get around because obviously the bar wasn't that massive, and he had, I think, like stuff coming out of the back of his
You said it was hot too, right? So that must have been.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but San Diego gets cooler in the evening though.
Yeah.
So at that
Okay.
point it was starting to cool down. And then Trump was also there. Talked to Trump. I love Trump. I'm trying to think.
So, Team Tempo Storm, basically.
Kibler was there. I talked to Kibler for a little while.
Okay, nice.
Shiro made an appearance. Natalie too. So.
Yeah, cool. Definitely a lot of community reps down there. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was honestly such a blast. A great event. They did a fantastic job putting it on.
Yeah. Awesome. Anyways, well, at least after the Comic-Con or whatever, they actually announced that there's a new Hearthstone comic series, or maybe it was during that time, but they basically announced one each day. So we actually have a total of 3 comics right now, which is like one would have been already shocking enough, but now we have 3. So the first of the 3 is Undeath Conquers All. And did you guys get a chance to catch any of these? We've got Undeath Conquers All, Force for the Weary, and the
I read
Freedom.
through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read through them. I think they were really well done. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge comic person, but I actually got a kick out of it. Like I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never really been a comic person either, but I had a little read just today. But I think it's really cool that like the more kind of content they do outside of just like in the game, it kind of gets people engaged in other ways. I think it's good for the game.
How about you, Dr. J? You get a chance to catch?
I wish I had a chance to read it. I have been really busy. I when I was at the event, in between rounds, I'd heard someone said something about a comic, so I believe I saw like the covers for them, but I was just so busy with that and trying to figure out flight stuff that I haven't had a chance. But I'm definitely going to go ahead and read them when I do get a chance, because the art on them is just amazing. I'm scrolling through, I'm seeing characters I know from Hearthstone cards, because I'm not from World of Warcraft, so. It's cool seeing the cards that I see in Hearthstone be implemented in something else, and it's really cool. I know we were talking about earlier about like Pompous Thespian and the South Sea Deckhand are sitting at the bar having fun.
Yeah, well, Pompous Thespian I think is the main character, so he's the storyteller, right? I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Man, I want to see a comic about Yogg.
Comic about Yogg. Yeah. I'm sure it's coming if these things are going to take off. Yeah, I think it's really refreshing that they're doing comics on just Hearthstone now. They probably have been shying away from doing any content like this, or maybe not prioritizing it, given that it's based off the Worldcraft world for the most part, right? World of Warcraft world. Most of us, or people that played Warcraft, just know it by nature. But I think it's important that they do it, because there's a lot of people that play Hearthstone that don't know anything about the lore in World of Warcraft. So this is really, really cool that they're presenting the Lich King lore. I think, I've obviously been following Overwatch for a while, and the Overwatch comics, have been out, and they've been telling the backstories with that. It's very similar. I'm not sure if they've used the same artist. For each of the 3 comics, they used a different set of writers and artists, I believe. I think there's maybe one common one. Let me see. I think Javier Mina does the first and third one, but they have different folks doing all of them, which I found was interesting, given that why not just have the same person do 3, right? So did you guys like the art style between the 2, or any individual one that you like the most? Anybody?
I definitely like the art style on the first one. I am now looking through the art style on the second one. I just noticed South Sea Captain in the corner. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I definitely like the art style on the first one. The second one's still nice. I wonder if it was just like a test run for Blizzard, just to see art style of different.
Yeah, who would be better?
The feedback that the community received of which comic they liked more. It also gave more art styles a chance to be seen.
Yeah, it makes it easier to kind of differentiate between the 2 as well, and like let it be known that they're kind of different stories. I think I prefer the art from the second one, with the kind of man, bear, shark, and all that stuff going on. Yeah.
Anything that has the shark bear is gonna win everybody's heart, right? Personally, I like.
Is that actually gonna be a card, by the way?
Yes,
dude, totally. They should.
I
can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It was flipping through the cards when they made the trailer. It was like the first one. It's gonna be a 3-mana card. It's probably gonna be a hunter card, because Rexar has the bear shark. So
yeah, I'm excited about that one too. We can totally try to guess at what it's going to be and come up with some crazy things. But yeah, anyways, this is the comics. I thought it was really, really cool. It looks like it's just a series of 3. So maybe each expansion they'll be coming out with, just more of a comic promo also. I still feel like there's something there in terms of all the Blizzard products, just creating a comic. Overwatch, there was supposed to be an Overwatch graphic novel that got canceled along the way because they wanted to change the lore. So they seem to be doing good products here. It's like they should just go for it, and just make a comic. That would be really, really cool. Sure, that a lot of people that are fans of the Blizzard IPs would totally buy them. But let's move on to some more Knights of the Frozen Throne. So there was a little bit of news. I think Ben did mention that in terms of the missions that are going to be available, just the PvE aspect, that the Perlunk's going to be free again, and it's going to be available right from the get-go. And then the first 4 missions will be available on day 1, and then the next 4 will be available over the next 2 weeks. So not everything will be available on day 1, which is pretty consistent, I guess you could say, with just the past expansions. But plenty on day 1, though, so I'm pretty excited about that. You guys looking forward to the PvE aspect of it?
Yeah, I think it'll be really fun. I'm excited. I think I feel like it's been a while since we've had that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The PvE experience.
What was the last time?
What was the last one, actually?
The last one was
No, Karazhan.
Was it Karazhan?
Yeah.
That was like
I think it was, yeah.
about a year ago.
The chessboard, right?
Yeah, right. That was that's definitely it.
Yeah, I mean the problem with I always had with them is that they always felt slightly too easy, and I just was kind of like waiting to get them done, and like I just wanted to get the new cards, so I was just like, oh, let's just complete all this really quick. But now I can because we get the cards straight away, you can firstly they can make it more challenging, and secondly you can do it in your own time and not have to rush through it to get the cards, and kind of enjoy it a bit more. And
it's supposed to be harder too. They said it's supposed to be harder, so it's going to be good. I hope it's not just regular and then heroic is just add a bunch of hit points to the hero, and then just make it harder that way.
Too.
Yeah, I hope it's just a lot more creative in how they make it harder.
Yeah, it's also nicer that it get the way PvE was really good is because not all players like the player versus player aspect of games. So some players play games for that player versus environment aspect. So it's really cool to think that they keep giving I know they did it before, but the fact that they're coming back with the fact that there's a new way technically to play the game, and it's a new way to just keep evolving the game. So I do like that about it.
I think it's a good way for them to possibly highlight new mechanics that they've added too. It wouldn't it be cool if there was a mission that was all about lifesteal? They're you have to steal life to you start with 5 health or something like that, and your job is to build your health pool while
first one to get to 30 health wins.
Exactly.
You start as 5 health, your opponent's pirate warrior. Good luck.
yeah, right, exactly. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
It also gives them a way to test new mechanics, how they said they always use the expansion, or they always use the old expansions to test the new mechanics and what they can do with the game.
Yeah.
So maybe they're testing new mechanics for future sets within these missions. And since you don't have to play the missions to get the cards, so they can test crazy mechanics that may not work, because if it's bugged, then they can always fix it later, and it's not like anyone gets upset about it.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be interesting if they actually do get stats that really, really granular stats from their PvE.
Sure.
But
why do you think they're doing it over kind of 2 weeks instead of just releasing it all on the first day? I don't really know why.
Well, in the past they've only released each wing each week, right? One wing at a time. So this is
why is that?
This is a little different. I guess it doesn't matter, right? So I don't know. Just maybe something to look forward to, just as a way to draw the the expansion out into more of a 3-week type of thing instead of just. Hey, it's out there.
More of an event than, oh, here are your cards, now go play.
Yeah, exactly. We already have an issue with things running dry too quickly from the standpoint of hype. So, if you can draw it out a couple more weeks, that'd definitely be great. All right, well, we've got new cards that have been announced. One yesterday, and we seem to be on number 6 and counting today. There might actually be one. You guys keep checking Reddit too, by the way. We might actually have more coming out while we're doing this. So let me know if you guys do see one. Oops, I guess I need to fix Allie's cam here in a second. But let's start off with the Plague Scientist, which was this was announced sometime this morning. Actually, we should start with it. I'll get to the one that was announced yesterday, but
we start with the best one, the Ticking Abomination.
Yes, okay. Let me get that. Let me get the first one that was revealed yesterday, which which me and Dr. J like to refer to as the tickling abomination.
Tickling abomination.
Tickling abomination.
What a
Yes.
card.
It's weird you both saw it. That's what you
We
both thought it
both
was.
saw it.
I think someone
Tickling
told me it was
abomination.
tickling abomination, or maybe I just saw it and I assumed it was tickling because that seems like a Hearthstone thing to do.
I have no excuses, man. I actually just, for some reason, saw it as tickling abomination. But yeah, how about this card? So it's a 4-mana, 5/6 non-class card, rare, and Death Rattle. Deal 5 damage to your minions. Not all minions, your minions. So this is an interesting take on a penalty for obviously a nice big body. So initial thoughts on this, Allie? What do you think?
Okay, well, when I first saw it, I mean, I don't think it's great. But I do feel like maybe there's some synergy out there that we just don't know about yet. That maybe it'll make it work. But in general, no, I didn't think that this card was all that powerful or strong.
Yeah,
That's just my initial reaction.
I think that's
Okay.
probably
Got something up their sleeves where it could be decent. We'll see. I don't know.
Jackie's holding his tongue here, but I think Dr. J, what do you think?
I don't know. I love the art on the card. I think the art's funny. I think the face is funny. The face on tickling abomination.
He's laughing, dude. He's totally laughing.
Mate, he's got his hands like he's about
I know
to tickle
he's gonna
you. like-
tickle you. Like it's just a fact. Other than that, like it's really hard to judge a card before the whole set's released. It's easier to judge the card when the whole set's released because then you can really say like, oh, this is the synergies for it. Because for instance, like a good example of that is Caverns Below was like rated one of like the worst. Like people were like, oh, this card's a joke, and it became one of the most
That's right.
powerful cards. I don't think this card's that case because it's sad to say, but a 4-mana 5/6 might just not be for that kind of penalty. It might not be good enough because we have 4-mana 7/7s with different penalties that actually are kind of better than this penalty. And I don't know, 4-mana 5/6 is only +1/+1 over like what's considered a decent stat line for a vanilla. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I think that this card, if you just judge it by what it is, then yeah, it doesn't sound great. Penalty's way too hard. Maybe do something like Zombie Chow or something like that. But for the most part, it's not good because it kills your own minions, and that's generally a bad thing. But you have to remember the theme. The theme is Lich King and Death Knights, and killing your own minions. There has to be something good about killing your own minions in this expansion, is what I'm imagining.
That's true.
So I don't know why they wouldn't release that stuff first and then release this, but that's how I'm kind of reading at least this card. So this one is for me is a wait and see type of thing.
What if it's like a Kel'Thuzad type effect where like the minions you killed this turn or something that are like resurrected and
Oh, so it's like a heal almost on those
yeah,
guys?
I don't know.
Oh my
maybe,
God.
possibly.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
They also want to put Tickling Abomination first because when we all kind of roast this card and we say it's a really bad card, and then they release that 1-mana 0/1 that says when this card dies, summon a 20/20. We're like, oh, Abomination's suddenly the best card of the set.
Yeah.
They're not going to see that in the mods.
I love that Reddit just exploded yesterday. Like, oh, we've waited for 3 weeks and
You
this is all we
suck.
get. Like,
You
what is
suck.
this trash?
It's like, guys, relax.
love
My
that.
God. Okay, Jackie, I didn't want to put you in a weird spot, but given that you have a card release coming up, what do you think of this? What do you think of this?
Yeah. I mean, it just looks like it sucks, right? Like it looks terrible. But I was trying to think of ways you could actually use it. Obviously, there's the kind of like the Death Rattle priest deck that plays like Devil Soul Eggs and the 1/1 that summon a 5/5 and that kind of thing. But to be honest, I don't even think it'd be good in that. I think if this did see play right now, like Hunter would probably be the best place for it because like in like Face Hunter, you're usually like getting the board for the first 3 or 4 turns, and then you're literally just going face and you don't care about your board anymore. And so like a 4-mana 5/6 is a very aggressive body, and if you don't care about your own board, then like I could really see this thing play in Face Hunter. Like
Really? Gosh.
other than that, I don't think there's
yeah,
anything.
maybe Hunter, maybe something that you're generally only going to have no minions on the board or one minion on the board. And maybe it's a small minion, right? It wouldn't be too bad, but I don't know. I still find it hard to seeing somebody play it. I compare this to like a Bittertide Hydra. I mean, Bittertide Hydra is going to be played over this, right? So I anticipate I'm going to go on a limb and say this card's going to be good after all the rest of the cards come out. And something to do with killing like your own minions is going to be something really, really good later. But okay, anyways, let's move on to the next one, Plague Scientist. So this is a rogue card, 3 mana, 2/3 body, combo, give a friendly minion poisonous. So this is the first time that we can pick any minion to give poisonous to. So interactions like what's it, Envenomous Blade and things like that, that's going to be or at least what people were wondering if Envenomous Blade would kill everything, right? Whenever you Blade Flurry and things like that. I think with this thing, if you put it on a Wild Pyro, it will kill everything if it procs on everything. Unless I'm wrong about that. Is that right?
Pyro, it'll kill everything, because if you put if you adapt Wild Pyro and Paladin and you give it poisonous, it kills everything.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So, adapt and Paladin. That's another card that you can put on anything. So, what do you guys think about this card? I mean, I know with the Jade one, it would have been nice, man, to be able to put poison on like a Swarmer or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I think
go ahead.
I think it's gonna be strong in Arena, definitely.
Oh,
I feel like this would be a pretty strong Arena card. And Constructed, I'm not sure. I think it also will depend on what else comes out, but I think it's relatively strong.
Yeah, I think it's not going to see play in things like Miracle Rogue, like spell-heavy rogue decks, but kind of more tempo-based decks that play like Firefly, Swashbuckler, and like more early-game minions. I think this could be decent in.
Yeah.
It's definitely got a weak body, but the effect is kind of like cute per se, because one of the cards that comes to my hand is just if you're playing a tempo rogue, you're most likely playing like Patches, so you could like play your pirate, coin this out, put it on Patches, and then kill something immediately. So that's kind of a cute like synergy with it. And then also tempo rogue, typically your early game minions are really fragile. I mean, putting this on like a Argent Squire might be really good, because then you might get the proc twice.
Oh yeah.
So other than that, though, the body is really weak. Like 3 mana 2/3 is like really below average.
Yeah.
Especially in the 3-drop, because 3-drops are really important. But it's definitely interesting. I like the effect. Typically, scientists have been pretty good, like mad scientists. So
yeah. I mean, the real question is this better than SI Agent? And I don't.
Or Shaku.
Yeah, or Shaku.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably no,
really hard to
right?
compete with.
I mean, it's probably like if you've got a 1/1 on the board, yes. If you don't know, it's probably the.
Yeah.
That was good.
Hard to keep a 1/1 on the board.
Staring down an 8/8 maybe.
Well, you could. Well, I mean, there's a good chance you do have a 1/1 on the board if you Swashbuckler and Patches, right? So, if you started with that and then you coined into this, it's a pretty good tempo at least on board.
Yeah, I mean, in like tempo rogue, you can play like Swashbuckler with Patches, play Argent Square as well. You play Fireflies, like you could even play like Defias Ringleader and like things like that in a very early game minion based deck, and that like this would be very good in that type of deck. But
yeah, well, definitely interesting, and more along the lines of I think would work in existing rogues. So that's definitely cool. All right, so the next card we have here, let's see, we've got Blood Queen. How do you pronounce that? Lanafel. Okay, let me bring it up here. Where is it? There it is, Blood Queen. Okay, so this is a good one. This is a Warlock card, 5 mana, and 1 attack, 6 health. Legendary Lifesteal has +1 attack for each card you've discarded this game. Whew. So this is like if you play this card late in games and you're playing a Disco Lock or you're playing Deathwing or something crazy like that, you could see some huge numbers on this card. So there's been some debate too, because I think Kibler's come out and said that it's going to be crazy strong on Twitter last night, and there's the total opposite, people saying that it's going to be trash. So these are the kind of cards that are the greatest to discuss. What do you guys think? Dr. J, how have you start off with this one?
So I'm really iffy on this card, because this is one of those cards that with the right cards printed, it could be insane, but I
Right.
don't see it being insane right now, just for the reason that the discard mechanic in its current state is just pretty. I'm just gonna say it's flat out kind of bad, just for the reason that you can't control what you discard, and there's a lot of times where you'd have this and then silverware golem, and you're like, okay, please discard the silverware golem, and you're gonna discard her and be like, wow, well, now she's gone unless I do like the
Right.
6 mana 5/5. But another thing that important to note with this card is like it nerfs other cards in the game, which I like to think about cards like that. So for instance, this nerfs Firelands Portal to an extent, because getting a 1/6 off of Firelands Portal is pretty bad. But on top of getting a 1/6 off Firelands Portal, now it increases your outs if you need healing off the Firelands Portal. And this now has healing, which is pretty cool. So it's like, I like to look at cards like that too. So this is also a decent 5-drop for that. But in the discard Warlock, I unless they print some more cards that if this card is discarded, or even a card that says you can control what you discard, which I don't think would ever be printed, just based off the nature of the game, I don't see this being strong enough, but it definitely does have the potential to be.
Allie?
Yeah, I guess a part of me when I saw it, I mean, you guys know Warlock's my favorite class, and it's just the disco aspect of it just doesn't excite me at all. And so, like, I feel bad because I want to like it, but I saw it and I just wasn't excited. So, like Dr. J was saying, though, like, if it has the right cards to go with it, like, I can see it being strong, but just at its current state, like, I guess I was just looking for something else in the Warlock Legendary. But yeah, it's like I said, with the right mechanics or with the right tools, I should say, it could be strong. I just, Disco's not my favorite, but
Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, like, the card itself is actually just like a really good card, and lifesteal, like healing, is much better in Warlock than most other classes. So it's actually insanely good, but it's just there's nothing to work with it. So like Warlock would definitely need some more kind of tools to help with it to make it work. But one of the interesting things about this card is that I'm pretty sure if you did discard it, and there's the Cruel Dynamancer, which is a 6 mana 5/5 death rattle, bring back a card you've discarded.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it would still have the attack of, like, it wouldn't be a 1/6.
It would be like,
It's like Cthulhu.
It's like
because
Cthulhu,
says, like, if it's on the board, you still get the attack, and this one's the same way.
Yeah, so this card could maybe help Cruel Dynamancer see play.
I could see that, yeah.
And so I think this card could maybe help other discard cards that we don't really see much of see more play, but yeah.
I think the tough part with discard and disco, and I have the same sentiments as you guys, is just that this card is, it could be good, but the thing is that the disco mechanic is so difficult to navigate, and the thing is like, I feel like cards like this try to give you a jackpot for doing it, like at the end, and I don't actually think that's good, for that type of deck to have this type of design. Like I wish they would do something that's more incremental. Like as you're playing a disco, as you're discarding mid game and things like that, there's a way to navigate and generate cards. Like by pulling from the graveyard or things like that. Versus, hey, if you live until turn 18, we'll give you a 15/6 guy. Like on the board. That's great. So I just don't like that approach.
I was actually just thinking about it, and I was actually like, the way it looks now is I wouldn't be surprised if they made a 2 mana 2/2 Warlock card that said either Battlecry, Death Rattle, add a Warlock minion you've discarded from your hand this game back to your hand.
Yeah, I mean, they could do
so kind
that.
of like the Dinomancer, except for it adds it to your hand. So like it would make this more viable. So if you did discard this, you wouldn't guarantee lose it forever. You could get it back with the 2/2.
Yeah. But how interesting is that though? It's like, okay, we have a card that just get back a card at discard.
I don't think it's necessarily interesting, but it makes it. It's a way to make it viable if Blizzard really wants to make this viable.
Yeah, I mean, this card is kind of trying to push discard lock into more of a mid-rangey, controlling type of thing instead of the aggressive discard lock, which kind of we've seen in the past. So
yeah,
it would be interesting because I think control warlock is something that has massive potential, but it's just really lacking the healing.
Yeah. I guess if you did add mechanics, it would just be a huge probability game, like playing discard luck, right? Probability of what you drop, probability of what you get back, and having to figure out what kind of power that gives you. So maybe high skill cap wise, there could be something there. But nonetheless, it's interesting. The fact that it has lifesteal, I think, just even that standpoint, it's pretty cool. All right, the next card we have is Blood Razor, which I think they should have called Frostbite, personally. But what do you guys think? So another weapon for a warrior at 4 mana, and it's called Blood Razor. It's a common card, 2/2. So 2 attack, 2 durability. Battle Cry and Death Rattles deal 1 damage to all minions. So that sounds kind of familiar. So I there's obviously there are some similarities with Deathbite. So what do you guys think of this card? I mean, it seems to synergize a lot with just the damaging, everything for 1 minion. So, enraging or executes and things like that, and dealing with some of the aggro decks. But Jackie, how do you start on this one? Like, what do you think about this?
I think this card's fantastic. I think it's not quite as strong as Deathbite, but I think that's a good thing, because I think Deathbite was too strong. Like, Deathbite was so strong that you just put it in every single warrior deck, which I don't think is a good thing. Like, this is a bit more niche. Like, you're not going to play it in Pirate Warrior, but you could definitely play it in some like mid-rangey, tempo-y style warriors, or maybe even Control Warrior. I really like this card a lot.
Yeah, less face damage, right? But you can still control the board pretty well. Jackie or Allie, what do you think?
Yeah, like Jackie said, I don't think it's as strong as Deathbite, but for good reason. You can drop a Frothing, on 3 and have it attack, get it going on 4. So I mean, like, I think there's a lot of things you can do with it. I think it's really strong. I wonder if the 2 attack is too weak, but I think the effect is so powerful that it'll make up for the fact that it's only 2 attacks. So I think it's really strong.
Yeah, it's like a volcanic potion with 2 swings from a weapon. So pretty interesting. Dr. J, what do you think?
I definitely think there's potential for this card. I don't know how strong it is. I think I saw some people talking about it on Twitter, and they were saying like maybe it replaces like a Whirlwind and Taunt Warrior in our current state. And I definitely think it is definitely a strong card, because Deathspite was one of the best cards Hearthstone's probably ever had, just for what it did, because it would kill 2 minions, and then it also contributed to, at the time, Patron. And so I'm sure there might be some Patron-esque effect that this will contribute to. And the card is the Whirlwind's effects are just super powerful. So if you think about it, it's like a 2-mana 2/2 weapon with 2 Whirlwinds attached, and you can control when the Whirlwinds go, and you invest the mana early and get it later.
Good.
So it's like the card text is good. I just I don't know if it's a 2-of in a deck, just because the 2 attack is kind of weak, but it definitely is a good enough card to be playing the 1-of as something.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be the decision whether you play this or you play a ghoul. Would you ever replace a ghoul with this? Or definitely Whirlwind. I can see that consideration. But would you?
I don't think you'd replace
a body?
A ghoul.
Okay.
No, because the 3/3 body is just so important.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Regardless, I'm glad to see a nice 4-drop weapon back in Warrior, because that was always one of my favorite cards in Warrior was Deathbite. All right, next up we've got Mountain Armor. So another Warrior card, and this one is a 3-mana 4/3 rare Death Rattle. If it's your opponent's turn, gain 6 armor. So if your opponent kills this thing, basically, then you're going to be getting health out of it. So there's this kind of decision that your opponent's going to have to take, whether to hit face and give up tempo, I guess, on board, or vice versa. Dr. J, what do you think, man?
I was really intrigued by this card. This card is definitely really cool. The 3-mana 4/3 is it's like a good stat line. It's pretty good. There's a lot of decent 3-mana 4/3s, I think, that I can't remember off the top of my head. But the way it's worded makes me wonder if it's like how good it is, because if it was Death Rattle, it's on your turn. You can trade into something and gain 6 armor, or your opponent has to lose a minion they don't want to lose, because they're like, oh, I can't let him kill a minion and get 6 armor, so I might as well trade into it now. Mm-hmm. But it also has, I think Jackie was saying earlier, when we just briefed over the cards real quick, that if you play it, they feel obligated to kill it so it doesn't trade up, and they don't want it to trade up. But if they kill it now, you get the 6 armor, which it basically accomplishes its goal. So it's definitely a really interesting card. I don't know how to evaluate it, so I don't want to say whether it's good or bad or not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Allie?
I agree. I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, I see what you mean by trading up. I don't know. I guess you have to decide the trade-off, of whether you want the armor or not, or if they do. Yeah, I actually don't know where I stand on it either. Jackie, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I don't think it would fit into kind of any current archetypes of warrior, but like the situations where like you against, say, Pirate Warrior, and then like they coin their frothing, and then you play this, and normally what the Pirate Warrior would want to do is kill the minion that's going to trade into the frothing. But then if they do that with this, you get 6 armor, which is great. But then if they don't, you're going to be able to trade your 4 attack minions to the frothing. So I think the effect is better than it like initially looks. Like the fact that you get to trade with a high attack minion is really good. So yeah, I don't think it would fit into any current kind of warrior decks we have, but I think it's a good card that you probably see some play somewhere.
I actually think this is a really good card. I think that maybe N'Zoth might even be a consideration in warrior because of this card too. If it wasn't for Jade Druid, Fatigue Warrior would be back. Like, no question with this card. I mean, it's like not even close. But the fact that Jade Druid exists, then, you still have to reconsider. But, I mean, this gives Warrior an immense amount of health. So, any kind of warrior that can leverage that, even if it's just like Quest Warrior or something, you might still be able to, survive even longer. I mean, this is a card that gives you additional health plus shield block and all that. I mean, that adds up, right? An additional 12 health on a Quest Warrior could be pretty amazing. So, yeah, I actually like this card. I don't think it will be a tempo type of thing. Like, it would be a little bit mismatched, to have something that gives you armor, yet you're playing a very tempo-oriented type of game. So I would think it would go down the control route and just allows you to trade, or allows you to even threaten and delay the game a bit until you get to your power cards. So really cool. I mean, definitely a great card for Warrior. Gives them a little bit more utility, to do some cool things. All right, Prince, what's that? Tal'Daram, I think is how you pronounce it. Okay, let's bring this one up.
Prince 3-3.
Prince 3-3. Oh gosh, yeah, the Prince 3-3, right? That's what we're gonna call it. Let me bring it up, right? That's pretty much what we're gonna have to call it. Okay, where is it? Do I not have it here? Well, I think I might not have gotten a screenshot of it. Actually, let's do Nerubian Traveler while I snag it, because like I said, these came out a little bit.
We need to find a 3-3 copy of the Prince.
yeah. Okay, so Nerubian that's right. Nerubian Unraveler. Sorry, not Untraveler. Unraveler is a epic card. 6 mana, 5/5 body. Spells cost 2 more. Okay, so sounds a lot like another 6 mana card we've had in the past that actually adds additional cost to spells, which obviously is in Wild right now. But what do you guys think of this? Allie, what do you think, man?
I mean, I loved Lotheb so much.
Yeah, it's pretty much Lotheb.
So if it's anything, it's close. I don't think it's as good as Lotheb, but it's close, and that's good enough for me. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I feel like Lotheb was a card that was so powerful. Like, you could deny your opponents anything can happen. You know what I mean? Or something along those lines. And so I feel like being able to kind of control the game in a way that you want to control it is what this card can allow you to do. And so I'm very excited. I think it's going to be pretty good. And you can have two of them. So yeah, I think it's fantastic.
All right, Jackie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's kind of, even though it's kind of similar to Lotheb, it's also kind of very different at the same time. Lotheb, what you would generally do is you would often hold it for one specific turn where you're just going to deny. Say you're against Freeze Mage and you deny them, like killing you or playing an Ice Block or whatever, or clearing your board. Whereas this is more like it's slower. Instead of like doing it for one turn, you're kind of they have to actually kill the minion for the effect to go away. It's not just a 1-turn effect. And because spells cost 2 more, it's going to be harder to kill than a 6-mana 5/5 would normally be to kill. Like, it's quite understated, but it's going to be harder to kill because spells cost a lot more. So like playing against this against like Miracle Rogue, they probably won't even have like be able to use a spell to activate their Valspine Slayer to kill it. So this is going to be a really difficult minion to deal with for quite a few decks. And the only thing I'm thinking is, what deck would you actually play this in? I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, Dr. J, how about you?
The way I view this card is like I definitely think it's a powerful effect. I definitely like the effect. I like it. It kind of adds counterplay to the game. This is also like a tech card that that can be used in specific matchups like Rogue and Mage, which is really important. I think Blizzard used their flex spot because I believe they discussed on stream about how they have like 10 flex spots in the expansion to help people like cope with things. Like a big example of that is Galaka Crawler. Like a lot of people were complaining about Pirate Warrior and the strengths of pirates. So like, okay, here's Galaka Crawler. You can beat the pirates all you want now. Yeah. And so I think people have been complaining about how the strength of Mage and Glyph and also like Rogue to an extent. So like they printed this card and said, hey, look, Glyph doesn't reduce the cost anymore. It just
right. We add on the discount. We add back on the discount.
Exactly. We put the discount back. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see where this card fits. Because like Jackie was saying, it definitely is like a slap in the face to Rogue because Rogue's not gonna have a good way to answer this. And most Rogues have been cutting sap. So like and even sap, you don't want to sap this. You just sap it and you play it again.
Yeah. So, you know, is it going to be one of those tech cards that people just add like one of or certain? You know, it's kind of like what Jackie was saying. I don't know how you fit this in, you know, because the body itself is just kind of, you know, you're just really wanting that text, but it's 6 mana. It's like half your turn, even at the end of the games. So, going to be interesting to see. You know, I could see it happening in like a Kazakus deck. You probably add something like this in a Kazakus deck, right? Maybe is
maybe.
strong enough? I mean, we're adding silence.
Decks are like pretty weak right now, so they definitely need some good 1-ofs, and that would definitely be a good 1-of to just place in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see the next card. Okay, here's Prince Taldarum. It's a legendary card. It's a 3-mana 3/3 battlecry. Okay, there's some question of interpretation of this text, so I kind of want to see what everybody thinks. If your deck has no 3-cost cards, transform into a 3/3 copy of a minion. So the question at hand is, do you copy an existing minion on the board, or is it just like a random copy of text from any card that's non-vanilla? So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's just copy one of your minions on the board?
I think if it was copy a I think it would specifically say transform into a 3/3 copy of a random minion. If it was a random minion.
I don't think they could fit that though, because to be
fair, it's got a lot of.
That might be why they cut it out. They said we don't have room for this. They'll figure out when this card comes out. They'll figure out when they played on 3 and the arrow comes up. They'll figure it out.
So, I mean, and like I was interpreting this, given that as a legend too. I was interpreting this as like a meme card. That's what I was thinking. It was that. Because I was thinking, oh, this is kind of like the meme card of the set or one of them. But if it isn't, if it's just like copy one of your other minions, then it's just kind of like, I mean, there's nothing that special about this legend, you know? It's like a Mirage Caller or whatever it is, and, you know, Herald Volage, right? Like cards that are bad.
Faceless Manipulator.
Yeah.
Well, it's not faceless because it's a 3/3. It's like just a 3/3 version.
Right. It's worse. It's worse than faceless.
It's way worse. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, am I missing something here, guys? Anybody see possibilities of this?
Mirage Caller is only specifically in Priest. Like, if you could play Mirage Caller in other classes, I'm pretty sure it would probably see some play. One interesting thing about this is that, like, I think right now there's a lot more cards in Wild that you would want to use this with. Like, using this with, like, Emperor or, like, Ragnaros or Sylvanas could be really good.
Sure.
One thing that's interesting about it is that if your deck has no 3 cost cards, so you can use Hemet, and then Hemet gets rid of all your 3 and less cost cards, and then you can use this on something big. But I think this is one of those cards that has really high potential, but there's no real cards in the meta right now that this works really well with, but we'll probably see some cards come out.
Well, this
It does work well with.
I mean, it works in Big Druid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can use that on, like Ysera or like Giant Anaconda.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's the
don't
same
think
concept.
worth it for
Big
that.
Druid.
It's the same concept as Barnes, right? Like what? There's no 3-drop in Big Druid, right?
You don't play Feral Rage.
I don't play Feral Rage in it. Yeah, I mean, there's only Jade Blossom and Feral Rage, I believe. So, I mean,
Would you play it in Big Druid though? I don't think you would.
I mean, I would think of it like Barnes. Like, okay, what can I possibly do with that? Because if you Barnes something out and then you copied, like, if you hit the jackpot with Barnes and then you hit the jackpot twice, basically Barnes,
Oh,
it ends the
That's
game.
like so
It
high
just
order.
ends the
Or-
game, right? Like, it's
There's
just like
there's also you go on 10, which I'm not advising this play. I don't know how good it is, but you could go Anaconda and then copy the Anaconda
yeah, that's true.
and just pull out stuff that they can't answer. But I really don't know about this
It's
card.
similar,
also
at least
go-
deck building thoughts, right? As
Yeah,
the
you
big
can also
thing.
go Blood of the Ancient One, Innovate Blood of
Yes!
the
I
Ancient
did see that.
Yes!
I did see that.
Yes,
Oh,
dirty,
there you
dirty
go.
dreams, baby. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Finally.
one other thing you can do is you can actually use that on the last card we were talking about, Nerubian Unraveler, and then for 9 mana you can have spells cost 4 more. So that could be a
That's
thing.
pretty sick too, actually. Oh my God, Rogue nightmares. Rogue would just not be able to do anything. It would be pretty terrible for them. Okay, so maybe there is some fun things you can do with this. You're getting me excited about this card. Actually, wasn't initially that excited about the card, but yeah. I think what other class would work with no 3-drops? Is there another class you can think of? that-
Definitely not Shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They've got a ton
Not
of them.
mage.
I mean, if it's not,
Not mage,
if-
okay.
there's,
Yeah, not
there's
mage,
very few
right?
classes
Secrets.
that don't run like good 3-cost cards. I mean, the only one really is Warrior, but like any kind of Warrior, you're running the neutral 3s like Stonehill Defender or Frothing. So
Yeah, and like
like
Ravaging
really hard.
Ghoul is now
Yeah.
thing.
oh yeah, Ravaging Ghoul, yeah.
Well, like
Forgot about
Jackie
that.
said, right? You don't actually
Oh,
have
Priest
to.
doesn't have very good 3-drops. If Shadow of Death.
Glimmer Root, but
I think I'd rather
You
play
can get
Glimmer
away
than
with
this card.
yeah.
No, but- well,
One thing that's I really like about a lot of these cards that we've been talking about is that
Yeah.
for some of them it's not like super obvious what you're going to play them in. It's not like
yeah.
a Druid Beast card that's
Right,
only going to be
that's very
played in
fair.
Beast Druid kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
they're all kind of like flexible and there's different things you can do with each of them, which is really cool.
What's cool is that they're non-class cards too. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of permutations of it because you can use all 9 classes with it. So it's dangerous at times, but I think at least initially it's a lot of fun to be able to experiment with a ton of them. So yeah. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys will try out, experiment with it. Tell us maybe some ideas. Feel free to email those or tweet us some of the ideas that you guys have found with some of the cards that we're reviewing today. But that's going to wrap up the card reviews for now. And I just want to remind everybody that we are available on all the audio channels too, because a lot of people just watch us on obviously Twitch and YouTube, but we have a lot of listeners too on iTunes as well as Google Play and SoundCloud. I just want to mention that if you do enjoy the show and you do listen to us on iTunes, feel free to leave us a rating because it helps out with people finding the show whenever they're looking for a Hearthstone podcast, and that helps us out in a big way. But also, we always want to take some time and give a shout out to the patrons that support the show, because the show is 100% supported by the patrons at patreon.com/valuetown. So if you're looking to support the show and you really, really enjoy it, go and check us out there, or check out just just the page we have there. And we post a lot of things. We do Deck of the Weeks every week. That's available to everybody, but we have all the patrons as our guests. And want to give a shout out to a few of them. Mike T, our legendary producer, of course, and then Bob K, Nathan J, Anthony L, Jason B, Old Man Riv, Zach P, Cody K, Alex G, Amish TV, and Steve K. Thank you so much, guys, for doing that. And again, we can't do the show without you guys. So, that means a ton, that you guys would continue supporting us in that way. And hopefully we can, continue it, obviously in 2018. And we need to figure out a way. Are you guys going to BlizzCon this year? We should have a meetup and everything. Allie, you've never been. Jackie, have you been
I've
to
never
BlizzCon?
been.
I've never been either.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
I'm most
dude.
likely going.
We gotta
should
set a
definitely
milestone or
try to
something
meet
to get
up.
everybody there so we can have a meetup and a live show there. That'd be awesome. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah, so maybe we'll do that, guys. Let me know. Definitely email us and let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that, because I'd love to try to figure out a way to get these guys there. All right, so the next thing we're doing is
Underrated or Jebaited.
all right, underrated or Jebaited, and I actually picked one this week, and it's one that people probably never look at, overlooked, but of course me and playing my biggest druid, we're trying out all kinds of crazy things. My biggest druid. And this week I happened to be playing Tortolian Forager, which I'll bring up here in a second. And yeah, it was pretty interesting, to be honest, because I haven't played this card since like the very, very beginning when it came out. And it wasn't until this week that I was trying out different things in that 2-drop area, things like Doomsayer and Pyromancer and all kinds of like removal, just that sort of thing. And it just dawned on me that, Tortolian Forager, it's almost like dropping a body and not having any penalties for it. And meaning like I drop this 2-drop, it's almost like Huckster. I actually get a card back that's at least a 5 attack minion or more. So not guaranteed to get one of those awesome 10 drops or 8 drops or whatever that you're trying to shoot for in a big druid, but you tend to get very solid minions from it. And dropping a 2-drop early in games, especially against like aggro or shaman, it's not such a bad thing, whether you've ramped to 4 or you don't have anything and you want to play a 2-drop. So yeah, what do you guys think? Any thoughts on this?
I definitely see what you're saying. Like it's a solid 2-drop, and it's generally like pretty positive. I think the only downside comes in where like what else could be in its place kind of thing. I feel like that's really the only downside. Like, is it better than a Doomsayer?
Yeah.
I guess it depends. So in itself, I like it, and I think it might be a little underrated. It's more just like that 2-drop slot in whatever deck you're trying to put it in. I just don't know if it's as good as another 2. That's sort of how I feel about it. Was this played in Beast Druid? Right? Was this played in some
people
kind of Beast
tried
Druid?
it, and I mean, I don't think anybody's legitimately tried it in a viable deck. Like, it's like the first week people were trying it in all kinds of things, right? But I don't think we've really seen it since.
Yeah.
So people just
I
like
think
kind of
it could
ruled
be
it
a little-
out, right?
Yeah, I think it could be a little underrated. I'll agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those cards where it's probably been slightly underplayed. Like it is actually a pretty decent card. It just hasn't really fitted into any specific archetype. And Big Druid is something where it could potentially fit, but the reason I don't like it in Big Druid is I feel like in Big Druid you're always just trying to like high roll. You're trying to like innovate out your barns or like get like Bright-Eyed Scout into something insane. So you're just always super mulliganing really hard for ramp and basically just innovate wild growth, like Mindkeeper, Bright Scout, that kind of thing. And so you're just trying to high roll out one of your massive things as quick as you can. Whereas Tortolian Forager is more kind of trying to take it a bit slower and make it more kind of
not something you want to do on 2, like on turn 2, right? Yeah, I know what you mean. You want to ramp up first.
Yeah.
Dr. J, what do you think?
I have some bad experiences with this card.
Do you really? Tell us about it.
Yeah. So all right. So when when the expansion first came out, I was trying to build a deck and I called it Jungle Book Druid, and it was Jungle Giants, and I played this card, and it was pretty underwhelming. It like got a couple wins. It wasn't that great, and then I think I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was like midway through the expansion. I was playing against an next thing you know, like a couple turns later, they dropped this card, and I was like, wait, like why is this an aggro druid? Like I didn't expect that. I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll think nothing of it. Went through the game, completely forgot about it. Next thing you know, the guy's like, well played. I'm like, well, why is it well played? He drops Deathwing, and I'm like, oh, that can come out of that card. I guess if you get Deathwing, it's pretty good. I just think it's a little underrated. I think there's so many things you'd rather be doing on 2 as druid with ramp, and then it just doesn't really fit into anything. Like maybe it's a really good value card.
Yeah.
It really like Peddler was a good value card, but you're also talking to one of the classes where value is like a staple. In Druid, it's not about like they have value cards, but in Druid you want to ramp up and then you start to accumulate the value. whereas this one you don't get value early and then remove things because Druid doesn't have removal. So if you're playing a 2 and a 2/2 and you're behind, well, you can never catch back up. That 5 attack or higher minion is not going to help you catch back up unless it is Deathwing.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that was the thing I was trying to just balance, was really, either just having something on the board that actually absorbs. It's basically a heal, right, in some ways, because the aggro deck will likely trade with it because it doesn't want you. At least a shaman will trade with it because they don't want you just beating down the totems, right? So it buys you a turn if you don't get some of those draws. But what you're giving up is probably one of those other cards. So it was just something I was playing around with. I thought it was worth talking about because it's good to talk about cards that I think a lot of us don't see all the time. So that's why at least I think we try to do in this segment. So overall, it sounds like we're probably a little bit on the Jebaited meter here. So,
Yeah, I was like, what's the consensus?
exactly. A little bit more on the Jebaited side of things. Okay, next up, we've got...
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
We've got FrankenDeck, which is, for those of you wondering, is a segment that we do where we try to build a deck together. And last week we did it, and we ended up making a deck of the week. And I think this week we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be making it into a deck of the week. So I didn't get a chance to build a Kazakus one, but Jackie and Allie actually built 2 Kazakus priests that we figured we would use as a reference. And we're gonna have to figure out how the best way to build this, because I don't really have the game ready to really build in this. So Kazakus being that's 30 cards is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna have to take notes here, but Dr. J, what we do is we try to just build a Kazakus deck together, priests, just based on ideas presented in different decks here. So I think Allie's is the one on the left that has Oracle, Crab, Cleric, Pint-Sized Potion, Potion of Madness, Shield, Ooze, Doomsayer, Radiant Elemental. Gosh, going through all these is tough, man. Shadow Vision, Pain, Glimmer Root, Death, the Creeper. I'm just going to read the last word of each. Greater Healing Potion, Kazakus, Feast, Horror, Shellraiser, Alchemist, Trailblazer, Nova, Song Stealer, Sunshard, Chained, Shadow Priest, Potion, Amber, Guardian, and Mind Control. So no dragons, just pure, just I guess value cards with Medivh, right? So and then Jackie's is kind of similar in the fact that it doesn't have any dragons, but it's got different value cards. Like it's got let's see, going through it, which ones do you have there different? I think the beginning is pretty much the same. But then you start changing when you got Thought Steal, and then Mastiff Spell, Shifting Shade. You got a Harrison in here, and then what else you got here? You got the Secondhand Bruiser, Holy Fire, just for I guess the more Medivh ammunition, and I think that's the only difference, right? And then Primordial Drake. Yeah, so you do have one dragon. My bad. You got one dragon. Okay, so that's a lot of different cards. We probably have like 38 to 40 different cards potentially to add from these 2 decks. But I guess let's ask our guest first, Dr. J. What elements do you think are at least maybe the differences between the 2 decks? What do you think is the most important thing to consider in a Kazakus priest deck?
The differences I'm seeing in both the lists is that I believe Allie's is the one that runs Hungry Crabs, correct?
Yeah, the
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Which I would maybe switch to a Galaka Crawler, depending on if you're running into more pirates.
You're right.
it's like the why not both crafts.
Yeah.
Allie's definitely looks like it's more anti-aggro, but it definitely has some like late game potential with the mind control, and it definitely looks like Jackie went for the unbeaten like the control decks with the Thought Steal, the Courier, not as much like anti-aggro tools, but they're still there because it's priest, and it's just definitely interesting to see the differences between the 2 decks because there's so many ways you can go with it. And I think like for instance like some of the like key cards I would say would be like just like Cleric's insanely good, Potion of Madness is insanely good. It's just been really hard recently for Kazakus decks to function, just because without that without that punch factor, and then everything else is just it's so much easier to build decks with consistent 2-ofs than it is to try and fit one of everything into a deck. So I definitely like the Primordial Drake though, because Primordial Drake is one of the best cards in the game in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Medivh package is always great just because you have mind control and free from Amber.
Yeah, as long as you don't get Harrisoned or oozed. Which right now, it's not super consistent, right? Like, I don't think everybody and their mothers is running it right now. So it might not be a terrible time for Medivh. Yeah, okay, like, what are your thoughts, guys? I mean, right now, for me, I would say, I mean, I play a lot of aggro right now. Like, more so than just your control, you know, Jade Druids and things like that. So I think I would definitely like to have a little more of the anti-aggro elements to it. And I think the real question is whether you do that in the form of taunt, or if you do it, you know, more in the form of, you know, maybe what you're doing, Allie, with Doomsayer, and you even have like Alchemist for more heals. So yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think is a more effective way to stop aggro?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I think Allie's list is probably better.
You just concede like right now.
I was playing my list today, and the problem with Kazakus Priest is that you don't have 2 Dragonfire potions.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
just don't have enough AoE. Yeah. Like Holy Nova isn't even that good because you're running 1-ofs. You can't have Organized Circle. You can't have Pint-Sized Potion and Shadowed Horror. So the AoE is really lacking. So you get kind of more punished for falling behind. It almost feels like you have to get Shadow Visions, a Dragonfire potion from Shadow Visions like every single time. So I think Primordial Drake is kind of super important.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree
other
with
than
that.
that, I think in my list I'd probably need to run less greedy stuff and slightly more crabs.
Right.
More crabs.
I think I would like, you know, because of that same point, I like Wild Pyro. You know, like Wild Pyro seems to get me out of a lot of situations. So in Priest too, Priest it seems to work. I mean, we don't have all the buffing cards. I mean, you still have Shadow Word or Power Word Shield, but you don't have like the you know, the Talon Priest. So it's a little bit harder to keep a Wild Pyro alive for very long, but I mean, I feel like it helps out quite a bit. It makes Holy Nova much better too.
It does. One of the issues with Wild Pyro and like a Kazakus-based deck though is Wild Pyro is extremely good with your early game spells like Potion and Pain, or not Pain. It's the buff health where you draw a card. I'm blanking on the name.
Powered Shield.
Power Word Shield, and it's really good with those cards, and you only have one of those cards and one Wild Pyro. So like it's kind of like the stars have to align if you want to clear an AoE board.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think the Primordial for sure needs to be in there.
Yeah. Primordial.
I think personally swapping the Hungry Crab for a Gerlachka Crawler if you guys wanted a aggro removal card. I don't know if you guys want to keep that in there. What else? I personally like Doomsayer. I mean, I think Doomsayer is so powerful, so I kind of like the Doomsayer in there. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I like it. I mean, I think it definitely, there's probably a huge jump in winning percentage against like Pirate Warriors and things like that whenever you do get it in the opening hand. So
one of the issues with Priest is that they don't have much card draw. So like if you like play Doomsayer and then it doesn't go off, you probably just lose the game. but it is so good that we should probably.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, anything else you put in, it's not going to clear the board either. So you know what I mean. You're going to be put in a very difficult situation regardless.
I don't think that my Darkshire Alchemist is all that necessary. Like it obviously helps with aggro, but I think we can cut that for maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I think you cut that for the
Second Rate Bruiser could be good instead.
Yeah.
Like I actually really like Second Rate Bruiser. Like no one plays it at the moment because Tark Rate Bruiser is better. But in a deck where you can only run 1-ofs, like I think Second Rate becomes good again, especially in Priest with not that much good AoE. It's kind of weird to think that Priest doesn't even have good AoE. I don't know. Like there's so like Dragonfire Potion is so important in Priest.
Well, I mean, you got that in Kazakus most of the time too. Kazakus will have a removal, but it's a little bit situational because of that, and tend to want to save visions for that too. So yeah, it's tricky for sure. I think the issue with the Kazakus priest a lot of times too is you just don't have a lot of bodies that are threatening. It's just
Right.
like
Yeah.
you're hoping Medivh ends up creating this giant board at the end, but that's not even. I wouldn't even say that's even
Yeah.
super consistent. A
No, a lot of the time I actually found myself going for the kind of summon 3 from Kazakus. and
Yeah.
that,
Okay, that's a good one
type of-
too.
Yeah.
Right. That's where Doomsayer sucks though. It's like, oh man, I hate that. I definitely hate the scare factor there. Elisa's nice too. So okay, so we're talking replace Darkshire Alchemist with a Primordial Drake, and what else?
What, Ali? How did you find Shadowed Horror without
Oh yeah.
Fireside?
With the Cabal, oh god, what's the sick drop? The Shadow
Cabal
Priest.
Shadow
Sorry,
Priest.
thank you, Cabal Shadow Priest. I did like it. I do. There were times though, like especially when you're playing against Murlocs, like the Shadowed Horror, like they buff them to 3. So much of the time you're kind of like
Yeah.
screwed. But I think overall, I did like having the combo in there. I was pretty content with it. I would be interested to try it without it. I haven't yet, so I haven't tried your list, so I can't be 100% confident. But I personally did enjoy it, and it helped having the pint size and the Shadow Priest, or Cabal Shadow Priest. It helps you deal with things like the Sarah, or just like sticky four attack minions. So I do say, I overall I think it was good. And I if you guys would like to keep it in there, I think it'd be worth trying it. So
Yeah, I think I like it because of Lyra too. I mean, you need spells for Lyra.
yeah,
so
that's true.
it's-
That was also a good point.
Yeah, I would. Oh yeah, that's for Shadowed Horror, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not as good, I guess, with
Keep messing
Lyra.
up the name Shadowed Horror.
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah, Shadowed Horror. Okay, well, I guess maybe we just keep it. Do we just switch out those two? I mean, any thoughts on Thought Steal?
I love Thought Steal.
I do too. It's like I have a hard time not
I
wanting.
mean, what do you guys think about weapon removal right now? Like kind of acidic swamp ooze versus gluttonous ooze versus Harrison.
I'd be willing to switch it to Gluttonous Ooze. I feel like Harrison's a little expensive, but
Do we even need it?
I mean, I think like gluttonous ooze is you don't really need it in priest as much as other classes because priest does good heal. But
Yeah.
priest doesn't have a good card draw, so I actually kind of like Harrison. To be
Yeah,
honest.
Harrison might be better just for that reason that it draws you cards.
Okay.
I'd be willing to try Harrison. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so switch the Swamp Ooze with Harrison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's just go with that, and then
All right.
we'll switch Crab with I think Galaka Crawler, and Darkshire Alchemist with Drake, and Ooze with Harrison.
All right, let's do
And I
it.
think that's it, right? All right, cool. I'll be posting that, guys. We're gonna be doing that for Deck of the Week too. So those of you wondering what Deck of the Week is, it's something that we do every week with patrons as our guests. It's like a mini show we do on Mondays. And we post Deck of the Week on the Patreon, so patreon.com/ValueTown. Take a look at that. Play it the entire week, and then come and let us know what your results are, because we just all come together and discuss our experiences with it. It's been a lot of fun. The patrons love it, so we're going to continue doing it because it's so fun. All right, next up we got Mekkatorque's Workshop. Where's it?
Behold my mighty invention!
Okay, Mekkatorque's Workshop is our custom card segment where everybody, or at least a lot of people, send in their cards and we get a chance to discuss it. And it's so funny because some of the cards, at least that Warlock card, reminded me a little bit of some of these submissions people have sent, in the past, right?
Yeah.
But this week we've got a card from Ethan C. called Frost Aegis. So it's right
Frost
here.
Aegis.
Yeah, right here. It is a mage card. It's a 3 mana, rare, gain 2 armor for each spell in your hand that didn't start in your hand. So maybe good with like a quest mage, right? Given that
Yeah,
the
quest mage
is all about
card.
that. Except for you're supposed to spend them for the quest. So this is kind of like
Right.
an anti-synergy, yeah. Dr. J, what do you think, man?
I definitely like the concept of it, like the concept of you having specific cards in your hand that will allow you to do other things. Like we've had that concept with dragons, we've had that concept with elementals. Like you play them in the next thing, so it's like definitely an interesting concept to think that if I have these specific cards in my hand, I get a benefit. I just don't think this benefit is like really worth it, and it's also like you were saying, the anti-synergy. It's definitely a cool idea. I like the idea of it.
Yeah. I definitely like armor, right? I mean, if Ice Block is indeed going to go away, which all indications say it's going to be going away soon, then we may need some type of mechanics like this.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think, Allie?
Yeah.
I feel like it's interesting, and there are times when I've played Quest Mage where my hand is so full that I can't play my Cabalist Tome because it's filled with everything else. And so in a situation like that, like where you have enough spells, it might be worth it. But I feel like the majority of the time you don't want to like hold back your spells that you need to use just to wait to draw this card. So I feel, you know what I mean? So like the anti-synergy I think is a big issue, but in theory I like the concept of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think of a
I
cool
agree
way
with
to
that.
do
The
it.
concept's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But generally in Quest Mage, every kind of defensive card you're playing, you're kind of using to stall an extra turn. It's usually just about the amount of turns you can survive. So like, if you could use this to stall an extra turn, then it could be really good. So like, if it was 2 mana, I think it would. That people would probably consider playing it in Quest Mage, because like there's situations you can probably set up to like gain enough mana to stall an extra turn or help you survive an extra turn.
Yeah.
But at 3 mana, it's
I could see having an apprentice or maybe a double apprentice or something, and then just an apprentice, and then Cabalist Tome into this, right? And you get at least six armor out of that. But I wonder if there's any more combos that you can do something like that and continue Cabalist into Cabalist. no, nothing like that. But it'd be interesting to see how much, like, what's the average armor you could get, because is it for only like 4 or 6? It's not worth. I don't think it's worth that. It's no better than an Ice Barrier, right? So it's I think it's interesting concept. All right, next thing we got is Burning Revenge. It's a card from Josiah L, and it's a warlock. Deal damage. It's a 1 mana spell. Deal damage to a minion equal to the amount of damage your hero has taken this turn. All right. Yeah. What do you guys?
I like it.
Yeah. This is kind of cool, right? This is at least going down that theme of damaging warlocks again and getting something out of it.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week.
Yeah, we were. I think that's why you followed up with it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it would be great, right? Like you play this with like Pit Lord.
Disgusting. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse shield slam. Like shield slam, you go up in health and you kill something. This way you're going down in health and you kill something.
That's true.
Blood Bloom, right? You could do some crazy stuff with that.
Oh
right?
gosh, Blood Bloom into
Crazy.
Doom into kill the 10-10 that came from Aya Blackclaw.
Dude?
The 10-10 that came off Aya Blackclaw.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or shoot him in the face. Shoot him in the face. You can hit the hero, right, with this. Do 10 damage to the face.
No, it's
right?
Oh no, it's a minion.
Hey, this is good face.
Oh my
This
god.
is go face. I'm going Blood Bloom, Doom.
Blood Bloom, Doom.
Yeah. and then dealing 20 to face.
1 mana pyroblast. Yes, man. That's
Wow.
good stuff. Yeah. That'd be so sweet. So
Great
interesting
card.
concept. Definitely like the concept. Yeah.
Oh, I found the craziest thing this thing can do. Are you ready?
Okay.
We're gonna go Sea Devil Stinger into Sea Devil Stinger into War Leader into Blood Bloom Doom into Blood Bloom Doom into this.
Oh my god.
29 damage.
Dang.
29. Oh my
man.
god. That's awesome. And then we're both left with 1, man. Then what's going on? I think he ends up winning, right? Because of that.
Well, hopefully it's not Pyro Warrior.
Then you life tap it. Oh man, it's so funny. Yeah. Anyways, good concept though. I like it. Definitely. Some kind of interesting mechanic there that maybe could have some viability. And the last one we got from Nick H is Chromie's Gift, which is a mage card, and it's an epic 4 mana. And let's see, it says look at the top 5 cards in your deck, then rearrange them in the order you will draw them. So
That's
kinda
cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I wish Blizzard would do something like this. Where you can
That's cool.
where you can just order things. Not only just know what's coming, but you get to put them in the order that you'd like to receive them. So, if you need card draw, man, just put that card draw right smack dab on the top so that you can guarantee some value there. What do you guys think? Is 5 too much? Maybe just 3 or something like that?
Five?
Well, look at you mean the mana cost?
No, just the
No, the-
number of cards that you would rearrange. Too much for their UI.
I think 5 might be too powerful. Like knowing the next 5 cards. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like maybe 3.
Given that Discover's 3, I think 3 is probably reasonable.
Yeah.
But 3 is
I don't
powerful
know.
too, man, right? That's pretty good.
I just think paying 4 mana to look at the top cards of your deck is
That's
true.
true.
pretty
That's
bad.
That's true.
That's
fair.
true.
It's a
Maybe it
really.
does need to be
I'm not going to
5.
say the card's
forgot
not
the
cool.
mana
card
cost.
is super cool,
Yeah.
but on turn 4, I want to either fireball that 5/5 staring me down, or
Good
I want
point.
to. I can just Arcane Elect for 3. But if I'm spending my whole turn to look at my cards.
Yeah, okay. That's very fair.
It's definitely like expensive for what you're getting, but in a like control mage deck, I think there are a lot of situations where one specific card can win you the game. So like you play this on turn 4, and like you have your Doomsayer in hand, and if you get Frost Nova, it will probably win you the game.
That's
if
true.
you don't
Yeah.
have your Frost Nova, you're
Very
gonna lose.
true.
Same with like setting up like Flame Strikes and things like that. So I think I think it's better than it looks.
Yeah.
I
Well-
don't think it would see play probably.
It would be even better if it
Like-
gave you the card. Like if it gave you a
Yeah.
card, like your top
Oh,
card.
that'd be much better.
Yeah, I think that would actually be. Man, it's hard to judge.
Because it would
you know?
read 4 mana, draw a card you want.
Yeah, and I mean you can
It's
draw.
really good.
You can draw some awesome cards. So, but the
I
fact
just
is,
feel
4
like
mana,
this-
you can't portal though, so it would be restricting.
true.
You can't flame strike. So it's pretty cool. I think I like the card. I like the picture too. Chromie's.
I just feel like it would be hilarious. Like you say you're aggro and this is in a control deck or something. I wonder how many people after playing this card would just straight concede. Because like say you need that Frost Nova Doomsayer and you've got the Doomsayer in hand and they play Chromie's Gift and it's like, well, clearly I'm not winning this with the next 5 cards that I'm going to draw.
right.
Or you activate it and you look at the top 5 and it's like Pyroblast, Alex, Medivh, and
Exactly.
2 Firelands portals, and you're like,
Concede.
well, looks like I'm drawing Firelands.
Got it right.
Because
Exactly.
you change the order and then you have to draw those 5 cards. You're just like, well, I'm not winning this game. Let's go to the next
Exactly,
one.
So it's a time saver, right? That's
Time
exactly
Yeah,
what
it's
we
4
need.
minutes, save your time.
Exactly. So
There we
good,
go.
so good. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for sending in the cards. It's always a pleasure, getting a chance to take a look at them and talk to them, and keep them coming. It's been crazy, like how engaging everybody's been with it and sending in cards every week. So really encourage you guys to do that. And
So fun too.
Yeah, totally
I
fun.
love seeing the community's ideas. Super, super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up now because I know Allie, you gotta get going, but I want to do some shout outs. Dr. J, thanks again so much for coming and stopping by and getting a chance to visit with us. I wanted to have you on, given that you had that big win this weekend, and it's always a pleasure getting a chance to visit with you.
Well, thank you for everything, ChanMan. I really appreciate all of this. It's a great experience. It's been a crazy ride I've been on for the past 4 or 5 months, and it's been great. And I really appreciate everything everyone's done for me. So thank y'all so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
What's your next event? Are you traveling soon or?
The next event will be playoffs, I'm pretty sure. So whenever
Okay.
playoffs is,
So you got
they haven't
some
released the
time.
date for that. And then after that, it's going to be Montreal.
Okay, nice. Do you have any? What's your Twitter? Or actually, your Twitter is actually right there. But do you stream and where can people find you?
Yeah, I stream. I stream at twitch.tv/DrJikininki. So
Okay.
it's just my tag handle. There's no underscore HS or anything. It's just a tag. So if you can spell my name, it's you'll
That's
make
the
it there.
challenge.
That's the
That's the
challenge.
trick.
DrJikininki.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like one of those speech warm-ups, like you got to say the letters. Oh man, Jackie, you want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, check out my stream, twitch.tv/JackieChan, where I stream
This is
almost
here.
every day.
This is gonna,
Yeah,
like,
which is going to be
basically
here, where you're probably watching it, unless you're listening to it. If you're listening to it, then yeah, come check it out anyway.
Yeah, we're recording this early, by the way, guys, because I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to all our patrons for supporting us, helping us continue to do this. I'm really enjoying being on Value Town. Yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for co-hosts. Been a great stream, and yeah, about it.
Awesome. Allie?
Yeah, it's just my Twitch handle is twitch.tv/Alliestrasza. If you can spell Straza correctly, you're there too. S before the Z. Thank you to Jackie and I's team, FCK, for always supporting us. We love you guys. The patrons, once again, we can't do this show without you, so thank you so much. And even if you aren't a patron and you just watch the show and you enjoy it, we appreciate you too. So thank you guys for all the support. And yeah, that's what I got.
And I'll wrap things up by saying thank you to the three of you guys for doing the show today. It's a lot of fun, and the card reveals are always so great. Like once we start up the card reveal season, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be here next week, so we're going to miss a lot of cards to be talking about. That just means we'll have twice as many when I do come back in 2 weeks. So yeah, just keep note of that, guys. We're going to be missing a show, but we'll be back on the, let's see, what's the date of it? I think it's the 8th or, no, the 9th. We'll be back on the 9th. So tune in there. If you want to check out the VODs for this episode, youtube.com/ChanManV. You can follow us all on Twitter here. The show Twitter is Value Town GG if you're interested in that. And if you have any questions, go ahead and email valuetown.chanmanv or at chanmanv.tv, and I'll answer anything. All the show notes and all that stuff are available on chanmanv.tv too, because I make a post for all the shows. So I know a lot of people always want to check out the decks and all that good stuff. You can find that all there. But yeah, other than that, find us on iTunes, all that good stuff later on tonight, or not tonight, but yeah, it'll be later on tonight. It might actually be early because again, it might be already available by the time this airs. But yeah, just definitely check that out and look for us there. But that's going to be it, guys, for Value Town this week. So for DrJikininki, Jackie Chan, and Alliestrasza, we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Hey guys.